For any black individual that is woke, pro-black, whatever you want to call yourself, you can't really think that black people in America, American-born black people in general, that most of the time we are moving as a collective. Like we're moving in a good direction. I'm just going to ask a question. How many other black people do you know that knows or is learning a second or a third language? How many black people that you know in real life or that you've met who wants to be a doctor, a lawyer? How many black people do you know that wants to aim to be a cop or work in the law enforcement? How many? How many black people do you know that doesn't care to judge you and they live a life that's different from society's stereotypes of black people? All the things that I've mentioned, this is not very common. Open-minded black people who just wants to get by, who are kind, foolishly with how black people operate and thinks, especially the ones who grew up in the projects or from the hood, they think being kind as a black man or a black woman is weak. It's like with Black America, we are so heavily programmed, brainwashed to think that you have to act tough, you have to act hood, you have to act hood smart, you have to show what you represent. And there's some people that fakes it just so they could get by and survive in rough areas like the projects. If you ask yourself this one question, what bad neighborhoods, or when you think of the hood, what is the first group as a majority that comes to mind? What race comes to mind? Black people. You know why? Sure, the government put us in that box and programmed the majority to make us think that we belong in that box, that we're no good to be doctors, lawyers, or to be anything else. They put us in that box, but it's up to the individuals that wants to accept that reality or fight the system, because we have a choice. We have freedom of choice. I'm a living witness. While recording this audio video, I've moved from Brooklyn, New York. And I grew up in Brooklyn, New York for over 20 years. Left when I got married when I was like 24. I went to upstate New York, tried it out. It was not for me and my wife and our children. We were there for a few years. Then we ended up moving down to South Carolina. Now we're planning to move to California in the near future. I've noticed, even with what just happened at work today, I decided to buy a New York Yankees cap snapback. For any one of you who is familiar with the hat, you could just Google it and see how it looks like. It's the iconic Yankees hat that says NY on it, New York. A lot of New Yorkers or New York City people, residents, right? It's a popular hat to wear. It shows the city that you represent and what you grew up with culturally. So I'm minding my business, doing my job today, and there was a guy while I was in the OR section, because I told you guys I'm an environmental service cleaner. I'm on the second floor. I'm just doing the trash. There was a guy from the operation unit. He's in the break room because I had to go in the lounge to take out the trash. He looked at my hat. He was like, "You from New York?" And I was like, "Yeah, I am." "Which part?" I told him I'm from Brooklyn, New York. And I think before he said that and before he asked that question, after he asked where I'm from and if I'm from New York City, from the city of New York, he also said this one thing, that there's a lot of people that just wears the hat just to wear it, like wear it for style purposes. And of course, moving along that, he also said that, oh, she's also from New York City. He was pointing at the girl that was across from him. I'm telling you, this girl, she has an attitude with me for some reason. I think she's very bougie and stuck up, or I'm just not her type, because she probably thinks like, okay, I'm not her cup of tea of black men that she grew up around, because she seems very ghetto and arrogant acting, and I don't like women who acts like that. So I don't know if she's Hispanic or half black, but I was like, hey, oh, you're from Brooklyn, New York as well. And then she just nodded her head and she went back on her conversation with her girlfriend. I just could see from her face. And both of the individuals I mentioned, the guy who started the conversation, who asked about my cap, he's black. Visually, you could see it. He's black. People would identify him as a brother, as black. The other girl, she could be black, Hispanic, I don't know. They're both from Brooklyn, New York. The way the conversation went, I was the only one that was happy, in a good mood to talk to them, and it just went sour and it just went cold. It just went cold. And I already know what it was. I'm not the stereotypical Pookie, Ray Ray, or the cool black dude, or the Tyrone stereotype. I don't fit their criteria of the type of black people that they would associate with or talk to like that. You could tell when somebody is vibing with you or likes talking to you. You could tell based off their demeanor. I consider myself a fairly attractive guy. A lot of people call me handsome, cute, good looking. I'll get smiles here and there. But for some reason, people that were conditioned, it does not matter, especially being black, has always looked down on black people like myself, the nerds, the educated lames, the ones who people will call church boy, church girl. Especially they will look down on the black men, because in a lot of their eyes, especially from other Tyrones or hood dudes, that represents that part of the black community, right? At least what's left of it today. They think in their head that if you're a nerd or book smart, you're a geek. You're inferior. I believe it all comes down to jealousy and insecurities. It brings out the worst from them, and it makes them look bad. And I be thinking in my head, I'm like, dang, this is why. This is exactly why black people as a whole, and people in general who are programmed to think of us as a certain way, this is why majority of black people in America is not going to go very far in life. The majority of black people that people would think of is the hood chicks or the hood dudes. I said it time and time before, just like my last video where I said that talking about the black community is a waste of time. I've had bad experiences with hood dudes non-stop. And it's the ones that I barely knew. For some reason, the ones that believes that I don't fit their criteria, that he's not black enough, he looks scrawny, he looks weak, they would always disrespect me or be passive aggressive with how they feel about me. Like I'm inferior. But look at the type of job that they got. Look at where they're at in life. It's not to talk harshly, but it's to be real honest with you. We're working the same exact job. In some cases, we're working in the exact same business, under the exact same belt. Even the ones that tells me things like, "Oh, you rather work for the white man," but then ended up they're the ones that are working for the white man. You see the stupidness, the hypocrisy, the delusion, the pride. What is so many American black people fighting for in America? Why are you fighting for a stereotype where people in general looks down on you? There's a lot of people who does not respect Pookies, Ray Rays, Keishas. And when I say Keishas, I mean hood chicks. The media does not respect that. You got Sexy Red, you got Lil Ice Spice, whatever you want to call these rappers now today, right? Megan Thee Stallion. That's a representation of black women with how much attention and sales that they're getting. This is the representation of black women. And it's not good. Because you're raising your daughters in the long run to follow this exact example, to be a street hooker, a prostitute, exploit her body, exploit herself, degrade herself, and call herself a black woman. It is just crazy to me. It's crazy. I have black neighbors. Right now, South Carolina, I made a video about this. Why it's important to get to know your neighbors. They don't even talk to me or my wife. They act like we don't exist. You know why? Because me and my wife, we don't carry ourselves like a stereotype. Black people has a deep rooted history of racism and segregation in America that it's so sad how the media came out of nowhere to change that viewpoint. It's like it's like the media is just doing us a favor by having black people who are selling their souls to be puppets for the media, to brainwash individuals, to do senseless killings, kill, steal, rob people, act like a thug. Shoot up the club, act crazy, blast their music, pants sagging. This is the representation of the black man, and the black woman, baby moms. Ratchet, loud, ghetto. Weave. Tattoos, tatted up, druggy, smoke weed. This is what black people are representing. I had a conversation with one of my coworkers, and there was one time she even said it. She said this one time, and this lady, mind you, she's a lot older than me, and she's full of wisdom for her age. She is different from other black women. She's the ones that actually are level-headed and like-minded. My wife and I always has this conversation, and my wife is black, just to remind any one of you who's watching this. She even said it. It's good to be around a diverse environment, and it's also good to be around like-minded black people. The type of black people that we do not associate with are ghetto, ratchet, ignorant, because so many times we had bad experiences dealing with black people like that. We have some of them that were cool because I already understand. Every hood dude or hood chick or anybody who's black that's from the hood, they don't act like they're from the hood. They may say they're from the hood. They may have some habits that they carried from the hood, but they're not about that life. They don't act like it either, 100%. They're still cool. And the thing is that the difference between those type of black people and the ones who are in that environment, those black people who has some habits and would talk to you no matter what, they're more accepting. They're more open-minded. When you're closed-minded, you are ignorant and you're deciding to choose to remain ignorant. And in that ignorant, in many cases, it could turn into hatred, envy, and you could be a crabs in a barrel stereotype. The black people with the crabs in the barrel mentality. So overall, what I'm saying is that from everything that I said from this video, I don't know who out there is thinking that there's some hope for the black community. No. We're still segregated today. And there's black people who are voluntarily choosing to be segregated. They want to live the hood lifestyle. They want to be in gangs. They want to show off to girls. They want to have different baby moms. They want to be about that life, fast money. They want to be a thug. They want to be that. They want to copy all the rappers that they see on TV, social media, talking about how many cops that they have on them, bodies that they collected. Like, what is this? It's garbage. This is the representation of the black man in America and the black women. Because I'm just going to be real, they're also part of the problem as well. The black man and black woman today are creating children out of wedlock and bringing children into a fatherless home. That's why we have so many of these problems in black America today, black people in general. The only ones who are tight like that are the ones who are in groups. And we are separated by groups. We're still segregated also. Society still made it that way because voluntarily, there's a lot of black people that wants to remain that way because they think that it's cool. This is the way of life. And if you're different from that, then something's wrong with you. This is just how it is. I read people's body language. I know how people act. I know how people could talk. I already could see that there's a lot of black people and people who are from the hood in general who is about that life, who likes the hood dudes, the ratchetness, the ghetto. They do not like people like me. I'm seen as inferior, too smart for them. And there was one case where a guy even said it to me one time at one job. He said this, and I swear to God he said this too. You look like you don't belong here. This is at one job that I used to work at. Ghetto, co-workers, ghetto environment. He said it out of his own mouth. You look like you don't belong here. You look like you can make it somewhere in life. You look like you'll have your head in the books. And I had the nickname Clark Kent from some black individuals. I took it as a compliment because I'm not going to be offended by that. I'm not making this video to sound like I'm better than black people in general. Because there's Africans who sees the drama that black Americans have. And then some black people may think that oh, they're looking down on all black people. No, they're looking down on the garbage that black Americans are deciding to represent, and they're taking pride off of it. They're proud of it. They're proud. You're proud of being arrogant, ignorant. You're proud of being a hood chick and a hood dude. You're proud of that life. There are a lot of black people who are not worth saving. They are a lost cause. We as a group in general, this is why we're never going to go far. See, black people like myself that wants to excel in life and who wants to make it, who actually makes it, whenever Pookie and Ray Ray, Tyrone, Keisha, when they see black people like myself, like my wife and I, successful, well off, nice house, well mannered, well dressed, we carry ourselves differently, we talk differently, they want to hate. They look at us as the inferior ones. They think, and there's times they think that we're acting uppity and arrogant. No, we're just not a product of our own environment. We want to do better. And you could do it too. It's called change. You want to be close-minded? You want to be a menace to society? You want to live as a black stereotype for the rest of your life? Hold pride of it? Like, oh, this is where I'm from. I represent the hood. I represent this and this and that. I don't care what nobody says. There's no hope for you. Only God could save you at that point. That's only if you want to seek for him to be for him to save you. At this point, I really don't even care no more, man. It is what it is. It is what it is. Boy, we're not gonna go very far as a group, and I don't see it ever happening in the future. We got men like Future, having kids here and there. Nick Cannon, same thing. And we have other black rappers doing the exact same thing. NBA Youngboy, same boat. This is the representation of the black American man, and the women that are getting pregnant by them are just as bad as well, and they are also part of the problem. If shame was mainstream, then this wouldn't be a conversation, and there would be nothing to talk about. Sure, here and there, you'd still have people that will step out of line, but it wouldn't be the majority. It wouldn't be a stereotype. And the stereotype, many cases, has truth behind it. And why get offended by a stereotype if you're not living that life? I'm not offended by black stereotypes because I know I'm not a certain way. I know I don't fit the stereotype. But I know if I'm a representation and I'm offended, that goes to show you that the stereotypes about black Americans is telling the truth. And that's the problem, and it's sad. A lot of black people as a collective is just not going to get it before it's too late. And the way this world is going, it's just going to get worse. It's sad, man. It really is. I'm thinking about myself, my wife, my children at this point. And just being around a lot of like-minded black people and people in general who has a like mind, who is free-spirited, who just wants peace, who does not want problems with nobody, who's wise, full of wisdom, humble. Those are the type of people that I'd rather be around. This is Casual Talk here. Peace out. Let me know what you think.